successful in other cities.
But their focus is going to be transportation
Sure.
and home electrification. So they're going to, all the things that they're going to be working on are getting city staffs educated on certain things, the trends that are elsewhere, and then get the public educated. So this.
Sure.
I should tell you that when our 350 group, which meets monthly, had this idea, maybe Stu had the idea, that we should reach out and see what other groups are out there in the Bay Area that we might want to collaborate with. And so he went off on it and did a research project with help. That's right. But he was awestruck by the
He was what?
He was awestruck by the number of organizations that are out there. Some of them pretty big. He ended up with sheets and sheets and sheets of all these organizations.
Sure.
And so he's put together this alliance, which now all these organizations can connect with each other if they need to have a big push for something.
Sure.
And it's
Where do
been
you
very
meet?
powerful.
We just rotate right now within our homes.
Oh, good.
That's great.
That's
No
good.
formal place,
Yeah.
but
Home is a good place to have a meeting.
Absolutely.
the Alliance we meet at Actera, they're
Right.
opening
Yeah.
up their facility to us.
A couple of things I could mention that one thing I want to be very complimentary to the city about something I did with 350's push a few weeks ago. We made a sign to put up to encourage people to get rid of their gas consuming automobiles and go to a hybrid electric. We hung a sign above the Embarcadero underpass,
Oh, okay.
which when
When
the traffic is really heavy,
When did you do that?
you can't miss that. Well,
Yeah.
we put it up, I guess, first about a month ago, and it was taken down, and I put it up again last Monday. And it's going to stay up another week. I was very happy that the city, it didn't charge us, first of all. Normally they get charged. And maybe it was Gil Friend that helped me. I contacted him and asked if he could help us through the Community Services Department, which does that. So it's going to be up another week, and maybe it'll be up longer. I'll see if I can do that. So I really appreciate the city letting us do that. The second thing is I talked to Liz and Corey Wolbach a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago, about getting gas pump warning labels on the gas pump when you fill up your car with gas. It will tell you that for each mile you drive, you're going to be putting a pound of carbon dioxide into the air.
Oh, wow.
Plus or minus, depending on whether the car is big or small.
Terrible.
And just so that consumers are aware of that fact when they pump the gas. They should be. It's kind of you're a consumer. You should know.
Tobacco.
Yeah.
So
Warning.
on
Yeah.
tobacco.
Berkeley
That causes
and,
cancer, right?
Yeah, other cities already have it.
Berkeley and San Francisco, they voted to have it, the city council.
Yeah.
And then they weren't able to implement it because the Western States Petroleum Association, as they tend to do, threatened this law.
Wow. So you feel you take up with 20 gallons of gas, it's 20 pounds of carbon.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Each
huge. Yeah.
each mile, 1 pound.
Wait, each mile is 1 pound.
Each mile,
Each
1
mile.
pound. 1 pound.
Oh my God.
Yes. See, people don't know that.
I
They
didn't know
should
that.
know
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. 1 pound.
1 pound.
So I'm really into like the last mile mobility type stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at the energy costs, right? So like gas power is like pretty horrible, right? Even electric is not the best because you have all this mass moving, right? And the bikes are actually pretty good, right? Or electric bikes are pretty good. They're pretty efficient.
Oh, yeah.
But what I found that even more efficient is electric
What?
skateboards. Electric skateboards. No kidding. No,
Really?
I've looked at this.
You see more and more of them.
Yeah. So
remotes.
yeah, that's right. So electric skateboard because with a bike, you're biking like this, right? You're kind of full front. But with a skateboard, you're standing like this on the side, right?
Greg, only you would think of that.
So,
only
anyway.
you, I guarantee it. Only
So and also a
you.
small wheel. The small wheels are more
Yeah,
energy
it's a
efficient.
tiny little thing.
Yeah,
Right?
it's only 10 pounds.
Carry it
Right?
on the
Yeah,
train.
yeah.
Here's another transportation related thing. We just one of our new members to our alliance is Diane Bailey,
I did, yes.
Menlo Park. She's a executive director of Menlo Spark. It's their climate organization. She's been working with the other cities in San Mateo County, and they just they are putting together a bulk electric vehicle procurement for all the cities together. So they're basically, they've gone out to all the major suppliers of electric vehicles. So they're going to say, hey, we're not just buying 10 for this city and 4 for this city. We're buying 300 for all these cities. What can you do for that? I thought that was
I saw Kirsten tweet yesterday. So, yeah.
pretty
I think
innovative.
their program is a little like Palo Alto in that saves for us.
I mean, 350?
No, Spark.
Oh, Spark.
Spark,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I don't remember what it stands for, but something. Similarly,
Interesting.
it's very progressive.
So on the gas pump warning waiver, it sort of got stopped because of this lawsuit threatening.
A pound a mile. Wow, that's
Excuse me?
pound a mile, you said, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
And- but I was thinking
imagine
of
for
moving-
like a suburban, it's got to be more than a pound a mile. Right?
Oh yeah. So
Versus
yeah,
like
my
a Prius,
Prius,
right?
my Prius puts 0.4 pounds per mile,
Oh, I see.
whereas a Hummer would put maybe 3.
Now, what would a Tesla do?
Excuse me?
Tesla.
A Tesla, well, 0.
No, but you have to generate the electricity somehow, right?
Yeah, but in Palo Alto, it's carbon free.
No, but worldwide net-wise, what would it be?
It's a good question. I think it all depends on where your electricity comes
Yeah,
from.
a nuclear power
Coal
plant
fired,
versus like coal versus
coal,
yeah.
gas is long as
And I
coal.
just got a Prius plug-in.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what you need. Plug in
Somebody
hybrid,
see.
I
I
think.
don't know if you saw this, Rick, but this is the Mercury News today. Nothing's out. The area residents share some of the creative ways they deal with increasingly.
What's
Terrible
the most creative method?
Well, I think it's walking and biking.
Is this in their
It's
which section?
in the Your Life section of the Merc today. So it's
Ah,
talking about shuttles.
Yeah.
I know we're doing some shuttle.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Maybe that.
Oh, the shuttle.
recent
Yeah, we
shuttle.
just looked at it like
Yeah.
on Monday. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the topic is actually quite interesting because BTA is pulling down one of the routes, and so we're looking to have the South Palo Alto shuttle kind of starting it. But staff was thinking much more of a kind of like the old school fixed route type of approach. It's more dynamic, on-demand type route, like mobility and service. But the big problem is paying for it. So there's really not much money for it. Which is really sad because on the same night we talked about this janitorial contract. And you guys may not follow this, but this contract was $500 like last time around, and now it's $10 million. It's the same service. It's just double the cost. Like $10 million a year. Well, not a year, but total. It's just so the shuttle service in South Palo Alto would have been $640, right? But we just blew $5 million on the janitorial service. And so paying for this shuttle service is really hard.
We've got to get around it.
How do you get around that? Yeah, I think we need better procurement.
I wonder if Palo Alto might do something to encourage people to say electrify their bike.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't bike because maybe they don't feel capable of
Yeah.
doing it. And if there was a program where you could get a low rate on some one of the bike shops to electrify your bike,
Or skateboard, right? The skateboard's $200.
or yeah,
$200 up to skateboard. If you go
somehow they
Greg, I'm not going to start speaking. No matter what.
Well, it's funny. Another meeting, someone said Palo Alto, right here in the heart of all this technology, it seemed like we'd be the first one to try everything out.
You think
And
so,
we're
yeah.
not necessarily the
We're not
first
quite
ones.
that kind of edge.
No, we're not. We're not.
And,
But
like we have Google and Ford and Apple and these all these companies building on autonomous vehicles have this huge population that's aging and needs to get around. I have some neighbors that still drive that shouldn't be.
Well, that's even more dangerous, right?
Yeah, and so I'm looking for the day when we have a simple, autonomous shuttle. The technology is really there.
Yeah.
To move them around. You don't want to go down to a hardware store.
Yeah.
You don't jump in your car.
I think the irony with our shuttle discussion the other night is we didn't do a financial analysis. I almost think we could do better using Lyft and Uber than to have a shuttle service.
Well, they did a basic analysis. But
Yes, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to make a decision.
Actually, the thing to him in Seattle, I used to go to Seattle a lot. They have this Lyft has this service where basically it's kind of like a shuttle service, but like for $1 per ride, they have these fixed routes, and the routes would actually change. It's driven by private cars, right? But it's like it's like these point-to-point connections, and the traffic time schedule, but the time schedule will literally shift, right, depending on demand. So it's kind of cool because like usually Lyft or Uber is like even from anywhere in the city could be $8-10, right? But in Seattle you can go from one point to one point for like only $1. It's actually kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So one of the council members talked about that. But, yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
We had one of our other guys, we're in a men's group, there's 10 of us, and we've been going together
fabulous.
for 20 years.
20 years.
20 years been doing this, and 3 of us, another guy, Steve Rosen, he's really into transportation. He had proposed a system where you look down and people in the driveways in the communities, everybody's got these 2 cars.
Yeah.
And you ask them, why do you have 2? Well, I have one car, my electric one, because I'm going to use it around town, and I have my other gasoline one for long distance.
Yeah.
But his proposal was the city get involved in a program that would encourage people to get rid of the gasoline and have a Lyft kind of a service that people could rely on when they really need the gasoline powered long distance car. And just have it available.
I think that kind of creates
So
the
that
future,
kind of
right?
thing, yes. That's the kind of thing though that can eliminate some of the cars now.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a real love affair with Tesla, and I think that's changing a number of things. And we're always trying to find plenty for charging stations. And long term, we'll have more and more charging stations and more opportunities to have the all electric car that goes further. I think the new Tesla will go 400 miles.
Oh, I don't know about that, but it goes far.
It's at least 300. I think it may be 400. People are worried about driving to LA, for example, which is a fairly common drive. And you can't do that on charge. So you've got to hope to God you find a charging station on the way.
My daughter just went down to LA and back, and she was appalled by the lineup at the Tesla charging.
Oh,
They had long waits to
Yes.
get charged.
That's not good.
And that's the kind of thing that kills that changeover into electric cars.
so imagine if there was many chargers as there are gas stations, right? Then there would be a problem.
Right, but there aren't.
No, I know.
Tesla has their own style of charging. They're not interchangeable. You can't charge it full
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So
Tesla, you have to have
no.
a Tesla charging. Now, I don't know about the Tesla.
They have
3.
adapters though.
I
They
didn't know
have
that.
Maybe
adapters.
the
Though.
Tesla 3 will be more.
They have adapters. You can get adapters.
It must be because we see Teslas plugged in at City Hall, and I think
Yeah.
there's a ubiquitous.
Yeah. No, you
So-
just buy this gigantic low adapter and it will like.
Would you want us to get more involved with the Transportation Commission?
Absolutely.
I would think-
Yeah, I think
I don't think we have a member on that or a
Why,
person representing the climate or.
I think that like on council we have like like tomorrow night we have 30 items, 20 items on our agenda, like some enormous number, and I think utilizing a commission board is actually a really good thing. Our commission is actually pretty smart people, and because they're not looking at just gigantic agendas, they can do more, right? So by the time it comes to council, it's more fully baked.
Right.
So I think that would be a great idea.
Well, you're going to have to make
You ready
a
to do
decision.
that? No, you ready to be part of that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you do have to make a decision on the Caltrans pretty soon.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I put my vote in for trenching.
Yeah. No, 80%. We did a poll. 80% of Palo Alto's want it underground.
Yeah.
That's really clear.
Trenching or
Trenching.
deep
Either way,
Not
either way.
underground, they want
Either
it
way.
trenched.
Yeah.
Either way, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want it
Do it.
underground. So that's
Yes.
a huge
We
desire.
haven't given them the underground option yet, but we did a new trenching option.
Uh-huh.
Listen, we gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you probably
Yeah,
will.
no,
Thank you so much.
thanks a lot. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much. On the Sunday, I didn't
Nice.
realize. Good seeing you.
Nice to see you both.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So, because you guys may not know it, are you familiar with WISPA? So WISPA is the Western States Power.
It's still live.
Pardon?
It's still Facebook Live. Just let you know. No,
It's fine. Yes, it's the refineries lobbyists,
Okay.
and they use the word WISPA for the acronym. It's when somebody's talking about, because frequently WISPA and the environmentalists are pitted against each other.
Sure.
I'm Gary Lynn.
Oh, by the way, Vice Mayor Liz is also here.
Right,
Right.
I'm the vice mayor, and if you
Yeah.
don't want me here, say
Oh, no,
so.
no, that's
Okay.
more the better.
Did you have an input form or?
Yes.
Yeah. What? Oh no, we usually use input form because the city manager says that he wants to make sure that
I did that online.
You did online?
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to let you know this is being broadcasted by Facebook Live.
Well, see, I guess you read my email.
I'm here
Well,
as
she
observer.
does it. So
I'm
maybe you
just
could give
here
a
to
quick,
listen.
Oh,
maybe you could give
okay.
a quick overview so that she
Oh,
has
okay,
some background.
I guess in April, on a Sunday afternoon, I was leaving Whole Foods on Emerson, going south. And right in front of me, there was a car that we were approaching the county. And they had right this turn signal on, which is the wrong way. I beat my horn, several times. It kept on going and immediately realized there was on the street and making a turn. 2 weeks later, the same thing happened again. And actually, that's what I had in the email. Actually, it's happened many times. 1 month ago, my wife and I were going down Homer, and within 1 minute, 2 cars came towards us the wrong way on Homer. And this is something that just happened when I was in my car. I don't drive that much downtown in that area, but something's wrong.
What do you suggest? What do you think might help?
Well, what I put
More
my-
signage on the street?
what
Or?
I have in the I used the info 311, and that was done in April. And I said the solution is to put a red and black sign with the no right turn signal. And I put that on the stop sign from immediate for the drivers. But I think there's a lot of visitors that are new to Palo Alto, and they don't know about when they go. And come during the day.
Did you talk to Josh? Did you talk to anyone? Or
Oh,
just
well,
anyone?
I put that in, and then you get an answer back. And I said, there's a arrow on the far side, and that's sufficient. And I replied back, no, it's not sufficient. Because people are still making problems. And then, so I said, okay, I've got to find another path. And I talked to the secretary for planning and transportation. I thought that would be
Who's that? Well,
whoever will put out the email.
Okay.
And she said, oh, call Philip. It's in the email to the council. And I talked to him, and he said, I can't do anything. I'm just an administrator. Well, that's really. And so then that's okay.
That's unfortunate. So what exactly was the response?
Oh, I mean, his response.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't do anything. I made the suggestion on the
Do us a favor. Send us a photo of what you saw. I know just what you're talking about.
You mean at the intersection?
Yeah, send a photo of the intersection that we can take a look at and discuss with probably Josh Mello. But I think your comments are good, especially we have in the summer, especially we have a lot of people who are coming to visit. So, not having sufficient signage,
Yeah, it's crazy.
uh,
It's dangerous.
especially because we put a lot of money into our signage.
Yeah.
So we need to put money into safety signage as well as into regular signage.
I can't understand what you're saying because I sometimes I'm on that street and I can kind of tell that's hard, especially if there's no cars going one way. That's one way, so I can understand that. But I haven't
That's
seen.
it's High Street you're talking
Homer.
No, this is
Homer.
Emerson.
Oh, Emerson. Emerson. I think the Homer. Homer. Also, I see that. But I do know that sometimes it's hard to tell. You know the photo.
Yeah,
On Emerson, and you're heading
going
south.
south.
Heading south on Emerson,
Right.
and
Approaching
seeing
Channing.
people. Yeah, and you're seeing people go the wrong way in Channing.
Right.
Oh, all right. Because I thought you were talking about the intersection of Homer and High, where you might also see it, because
Oh, yeah,
that's
so that-
that's equally one way.
Well, another example, one Saturday night, we were going down High Street towards home on Lincoln, and two cars came the wrong way.
Right.
And maybe 6 months ago, another car was approaching me in the left lane. I'm going the wrong way, and I said, "Hey, you're going the wrong way." And the woman says, "Go have a heart attack."
Wow. Wow.
Well, that was pleasant.
That is not good.
Yeah. Let's see. I took a picture of the intersection.
You know, Greg, I sometimes wonder, I don't know if it's effective for other people, but if it's written on the pavement in front of me, it's very effective.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you really see it.
Yeah.
So, I think some kind of, the big thing on the pavement said one way,
It's gotta be
might be
super
very
obvious.
helpful.
Well, I think my original suggestion of
Another
on
sign.
on the immediate corner, the people see a stop sign,
Mhm.
and then right below it, no right turn.
Because I think a lot of people, they judge one-way streets by direction cars are going and by
Or park.
park, right? And if they're not cars there, they think naturally it's two-way.
Well, sometimes the cars are parked the wrong way. On
Yeah.
the one-way
Oh,
street,
right.
they're parked the wrong way.
And that will really screw people up. Yeah, no, I can understand that. So I have a little map here of Palo Alto. Let's see if I can just.
The thing in my communications is I can't figure out what's the reluctance, what a sign.
Well, I think staff's response
Always
to you
reluctant.
is
Always.
but still, staff's response to you doesn't sound appropriate, right?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of a not invented here thing.
Yeah.
Who's the resident going to say what I should do? That's probably a big part of it.
Oh, but that's real. If that's the
So
case,
can you
that's
show me
really
on this
good.
map the areas?
Yeah, it's
Emerson?
Emerson and going
High School.
yeah, so there's an intersection.
Let's see.
Thank you. So we were just coming out of Whole Foods, we saw a parking lot, and we were going here, and that's the corner of the building.
Yeah.
Actually, there's probably I think almost all of Channing doesn't have those no right turns. A couple of intersections do, but
So I think both Homer and Channing probably need more clarification. Because the other thing I noticed on Homer that really confuses the heck out of people is that you can bike in that, what I'm saying, on the street here, you can bike in that direction.
you can.
Yeah. So I've
never.
Oh no, you can. Yeah. So it's a one-way street, but you can bike in that direction. So cars also judge.
Is it allowed?
Yeah, it's allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. I'll show you. I'll show you the trailer. So you see this? So you can bike this way, or you can bike that way. The cars only go this way, right? So I can also imagine bikes because they come out of the tunnel. The reason why I know this is how I escape with the city hall. So this is how I go, right? I go like this, across Almond, then I go like this way. And it's all legal. So if you look at here, the bikes, you can't tell the bikes face that way, right? So you're allowed to go this way up, right? And so they're confusing the heck out of people because usually also bikes go in the same direction as cars, right? So you're biking this way, right? And the car's going that way. If you see them turning this way, maybe you think, oh, well, I just turn this way, right? That's interesting. I didn't realize Channing also has this issue.
But I'd be glad to tell Josh about it too, who's head of transportation. Because for some reason, there's always a reluctance to add more signage. And their usual reason is they say it starts to get confusing. People can absorb too much. So I'll talk to Josh.
Yeah, well, the secretary, I asked the secretary, should I make a presentation in front of the planning transportation? It didn't seem like that's what they do.
Always worth it. always,
That's why
go there or come to us, come to City Hall and make it during
I did.
oral presentations at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, well, I did the email, and I think for this kind of case, that would be sufficient.
Come and talk to us. You really want our attention. You don't know how many emails we get. The number of emails is really daunting. So I'm always impressed when somebody comes back and talks to us. Do you agree?
I agree. But the main challenge I have though is a lot of people are busy, and so it's hard for someone to take time out of the day to go to City Hall. And so that's why I hope these office hours. Because I'm trying to make it really, make it lower the barrier for people to participate. But I think the Vice Mayor is right. If you could do that, that's even better.
In person is much more.
Yeah. Because there's lots of people for attention.
Well,
But I still don't like what staff's response to. That's just truly horrible. I mean, actually, can you put it in an email?
well, it was an oral conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, if you send how that conversation went.
Yeah, it's in the email that I sent the copy.
Oh,
I got the name and everything.
okay.
I quoted his response.
Okay, and what was that response exactly?
See, I'm just an administrator. I can't do anything.
Yeah, I just think that kind of attitude is not appropriate because, so in my viewpoint, right, the city is a service organization to the residents, right? I mean, that's why we pay taxes for them to do services for us, right? And I think the thing that's missing here is some sort of feedback mechanism. So, for most consumer-facing businesses, they have this thing called Net Promoter Score, which basically, you go to a restaurant and they say, go to this website and tell how the service is done, or on this thing, circle from 1 to 5, what's how good it is. There's nothing like that for the city. So
on that info of 311, there is feedback.
Oh, really? So did you fill it out?
Well, I didn't get that opportunity for this particular situation.
Oh, why not?
It wasn't available.
So that's interesting. So that kind of stuff should be there.
But there was last Wednesday, we get our street swept, and the guy with the machine was putting out this huge clouds of dust. So I sent the info to one of the machine, and when he came by our place, I stopped him. I said, well, "What's going on? You create all these dust." Yeah. People with contact lenses, they really screw them up.
Yeah.
He said, well, I got the water on, and so then I put on the info 311. I said, "I'll keep the driver," and he said, "You got the water on," but I said, "Maybe it's wrong with the machine." And then I got the response back, and they said that they talked to the contractor, and they're going to.
That's awesome. So I think that kind of direct.
So then there was an opportunity to say, okay, what was your?
Yeah, so I think that kind of direct one-on-one feedback is really important because, in general, I think the city does a good job, but there's certain times that it doesn't, right? Maybe that the response kind of not back and forth, whatever it is. Because I think that constant feedback is really important because the city can improve, right? And if you don't have that feedback mechanism, I think the problem is that, I can say it like this, like the trash company that we use ripped the cover off our trash. And my wife was for months trying to get them this trash can cover, right? It's really hard, but there's no way. There's no way
You have to do it yourself.
Well, no, with enough complaining, it eventually happened, right? I'm not on city council, so it took a long time, a month or so. It took a really hell of a long time. So, but I think there's part of the problem is that there's not, other than the annual citizen survey, which goes out to 100 people, something like that, 1,000, I don't know, some small number of people. It's there's not a really great feedback mechanism to say, hey, the service here wasn't great. There are JD Powers. I'm not sure of JD Powers. JD Powers has a lot of consumer satisfaction surveys. And one of the most important things they recommend to companies to improve the quality of service is feedback, right? And so just about every consumer business in the world have embraced that, right? Especially ones that are highly rated. They always ask, you have to ask you, how was the driver, right? Or, whatever everyone asks for feedback. But the city doesn't do that, right?
Well, that webpage, I really like it.
So maybe we should extend that to all services that City Hall, so that really people can get feedback anytime they
You
want.
mean the 311?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because
That is all services.
I just put another one in this morning because on Embarcadero, sign that gives you your speed.
Yeah.
The left
It's
number is out.
broken.
It's
Yes.
out.
I saw it yesterday.
Okay.
So
Yes.
could
What
you?
did you do about it now?
I was going to tell somebody Monday night, and I thought, then I thought I'll be on that road a couple more times. I'm going to see if they fix it before Monday. So we'll see.
So why didn't you do that then for fill up? Why don't you put that feedback in the 311 for fill up?
I've done enough. I have to elevate it to the comfort level.
Sometimes you get to a point where you say that's sufficient.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think applaud you for giving that feedback. I think that's how we become a better city, right? Because I think most people that, most of the concerns of people I talk to aren't humongous things. They're like small things like, hey, that's science, not right, and it's dangerous. People will get killed. Right? So I think that's great that you're doing this.
The other small issue that I put on the 311 was a tree on top of that had beautiful canopy, and I saw it marked for cut down. And so I thought, what's going on here? We've got this beautiful tree, old tree.
Downtown?
No,
Downtown
Copper and Canyon. Not block from home. So walk that road. And the response back, in fact, no, James Keene gave me a reply within a few hours. And he said that he can look into it. And the arborist said root rot. And I think the new arborist, and he's good thing around and find all trees with root rot. These are big trees. And I noticed on Wrigley, Gamble Garden, big trees that cut down. Probably the same thing. But I looked at the trunk from the one and there was definitely root rot, but the thickness was still there. It's 6-7 inches all around. So it's going to be in there a long time.
I think that's something we really should get on because the same thing happened at Castellano.
Oh yeah, I know
remember?
about that. Yeah.
It was very questionable
Yeah.
as to whether or not the treatment had a Yeah, I think that's when you and I should really follow up.
Sure.
Because I don't like to see trees come down.
Yeah, me neither.
Can I bring up one other thing?
Actually, how much time do
Yeah,
we have?
we are reaching that different time right now.
Okay.
So we can make it quick, maybe.
See, you've heard from me before. I've got a website, Palo Alto, and this is the lobbying thing for not having the city hire people that sit up there. A lot of people. At one point, that was the plan.
I remember, right.
I talked to the city council and also the mayor. And I've been written for a couple of years. But some people
You're
are
an industrious man. You are.
I think this community is awesome.
well, there's a lot of information on that website that has a lot of
How also ended you got?
work.
Or
So it goes into I did a simulation for a year simulation of cost. Yeah, that's a lot of people. And also people safety. It doubles the cost.
we're lucky to have people like you in our community that really get involved and are actively seeking solutions and answers. I really appreciate that. Takes some energy.
So I think that at least for another 5 years.
If you are no longer working, what did you do when you did work?
Lucky company.
Oh, me too. Just like this.
Taylor, my husband.
I made a test out
Ah, okay.
And where did you work?
Harris.
Oh, I know them. Yeah.
I don't know.
They moved back east in 2002.
Well, that explains some of your interest in that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Energy is
yeah, exactly. Very nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.